So welcome YouTube to Wrestler Designs. This is part 6 of Project Donuts. So in today's video is a continuation, obviously, of part 5, which is when the car stopped working. So I've given it a day off to kind of gather my thoughts and kind of go through the basics and trying to see what the situation is with this car. It really is fighting me to the bitter end. If I can get it running today, I'm going to be hopefully trying to get it an inspection and MOT done on it today. Let's see if I can or not. I'm going to run through the basics, plugs, fuel, and let's see if it was doing the same problem last time. The problem I had last time when the ECU had blown, it was basically just wetting the plugs up. I had spark, but the injectors were fully open. So that's the first thing I'm going to check, take the plugs off, and let's see what's what. Okay, so the first thing I've done, I've actually checked the spark and cranked it over, and I do have spark, and as you can see, the plugs are a bit black. It's running a bit rich, but they're actually dry. So it looks like the situation is not what it was before. Off camera, I removed the fuel return and put it into a bottle, and I'm getting no fuel. Also, as I checked the plugs and stuff, you got a brand new set of leads, because I think the leads were breaking down anyway. So I got new leads fitted on, and also I've P-clipped them away from the turbo to give me a bit more breathing room as well as I've got obviously a turbo jacket to put on, and when I do the 3-inch downpipe, I'm going to wrap up the new 3-inch downpipe when that's ready to go on as well. But I'll do that obviously after the inspection if I can get this thing running today. Okay, so we've checked spark, and the plugs are not wet, and we have no fuel. So what I'm going to do is, something's telling me it's going to be the fuel pump, even though I can hear the fuel pump priming. As I turn the key, hopefully you guys can hear. So it is priming, but maybe I think it could be an issue under there. Okay, so let's lift this up and see what's what. All right guys, so I've done it off camera because I do want to mess around with the camera while I was filming with the fumes off the fuel tank and stuff. Make sure when you're dealing with fuel that it's always well ventilated. So I don't want to mess around with the camera and stuff. So anyway, I lifted up the back seat, took off the cover, checked if there was any kink in the pipes. They all seemed okay. I also checked to see if I had voltage there or if I had the voltage drop, and it all seemed fine. But something told me to actually take the pump out and have a look and make sure everything was okay actually in the tank. My thinking was the standard fuel pump would have been changed at some point because it's not going to deal with this turbocharged engine. And I think what everybody fits is a Warbro. It's kind of a plug and play pump. So I thought, let me have a look. And it's basically, you know, this car it seems to be a catalogue of issues. The pump had actually come off the cradle and wasn't actually getting fuel properly. Hopefully, I think that seems to be the issue. As you can see in this clip here in the video, from the last video from episode 5, that the fuel was actually low. Also, I was parked on an incline, and I think that's why it didn't start. So what I've done is refitted it, put it further down, so it does actually pick up the fuel from the bottom of the tank, as it should be. But before I get it started or try it, I'm also going to do an oil change. I did change the oil originally when I started it up, but obviously between that point and this point, the car's been over fueling. I don't want fuel contaminating the oil and stuff. So I'm just going to replace the oil again with the same stuff, which is this Valvoline 2050. It's been highly recommended on the forums for these kind of engines, especially because it's got no hydraulics to put the 2050 in the turbo. It does run at higher temperatures. So just going to drop some of this in, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, this thing will start. And if it does start, it's going to be MOT time, and hopefully I can get to the MOT station with no issues. That's the next hurdle. But let's see if it starts first. Let's put this in. Right, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Yeah, it looks nice and clean there actually. Should maybe a funnel. Let's see if I've got the skills that pays the bills. Let's just check the level. Yep, it's on the mark. Trying to do things one-handed. Need to get a cameraman. Okay, so moment of truth. Let's turn it on. Okay, the pump definitely sounds a lot quieter. Oh yes, baby, we're in business. Yeah. Okay. I'm so lucky. In the end, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It was just a fuel pump. Obviously, an oversight by someone, but that's another problem solved. I'm gonna make a quick phone call, and let's take this down the road. Let's get this inspection done on this. So as you've seen, it drives, it runs. I took it to MOT, I came back and it passed, so it's amazing. So one problem solved, more to become. This car is never ending with this project. The bonnet's up, as you guys can see. Why is the bonnet up, you may ask? Simple things really, nothing too major at the moment. It's basically what I noticed was it holds temperature perfectly when I'm moving, but when I come to a standstill, the little electric fan obviously isn't man enough. So I'm just going to put the viscous fan back on it. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. So the reason why I wanted to go with the electric fan, it's one, you can tell if it's working or not a lot easier, as well as you've got more control over it if you need to, and it just looks tidier in my opinion than the viscous fan. But yeah, I'm just going to put the viscous fan back on it. It works. Why reinvent the wheel, as they say. Also, the turbo jacket came just before I went for the MOT, so that was perfect. So I just clipped that on and keeps the temperature down. I've literally just got it back to the barn, and within 5 minutes I've started stripping it down again and moving on to the next thing before I take this back, which is going to be doing a 3-inch downpipe using the bits off again, the leftovers from my Mark IV track day car. I've got loads of 3-inch bends and a flexi as well, so I'm just going to remove that, replace that. So yep, so I'm just going to make that up. So I've started to remove that, but that will be continued for the next episode, as well as welding up that little crack on there. But I will show you also what I've done. So I've got these little, let me turn the light on. I also got these little corner trims. The glove box is also done. The clock's also done. The stereo's all in. So the interior is actually looking a lot nicer, a bit more complete. They've got the little seat covers on these seats. Here is said MOT paper certificate. If I can get it open with one hand. There you go, covering up some of the information. There you go, it's a pass. And it's all done. So that's all cool. So the car's road legal now, fully road legal. So in the next video, I'll be showing you guys finishing off this downpipe and putting the flexi on there. On the way to the MOT station, I did notice that there was a lot of vibration coming from the rear of the car, as well as just basically the drivetrain. There's a lot of lash in the system, a lot of playing it, a lot of knocking. So when we got to the MOT station, after the MOT was done, I actually checked the play or the movement, the lash in the rear diff, and it's excessive. I think obviously the diff has been, this car maybe has done a few more, couple of drift days or something back in the day. So it looks like it needs a diff as well. I don't think that's going to make it back to Portugal, and why take the risk? So I'm just going to have to source a diff for it within the next few days so that I can replace that, as well as I'm going to move on with this. So that's going to probably delay me now for another week later than I was expected, but what's a week here or there? It is what it is. It's better to go down safely and in one piece and not break down on the way and then have issues and it end up costing me a lot more. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, ding-a-ling-a-ling, click that notification bell, keep safe, and it's running.